Hello everyone, welcome back to a first episode of Storm Tyrants. Guys, it's going to be a weekly or bi-weekly podcast that we'll be doing to kind of discuss and talk about GA. Most of us are going to be Rye enthusiasts, and we're going to talk about our thoughts going forward with Rye competitively and also casually, kind of get like a feel for how we enjoy playing Rye and so forth. So let's do some quick introductions. My name is Leo, or Memories of Past on Discord. I'll move it on to you, Eli.
Hi, I'm Eli, also known as Idle Thoughts on the Discord.
And finally, we have...
And then on to you, Nid.
Yeah.
I'm Nid, and I'm known as NidhoggX on the Discord.
All right, yeah. So nice to meet everybody here. Well, we all have already talked and kind of met each other. I met Eli at Ascent. That just happened a couple weeks ago, so that was a very fun experience. We'll definitely be talking about our experience with Rye playing at Ascent, so we have some stuff in store for you as well. All right, so kind of as a first episode, a pilot episode that we have, we'll kind of just talk about a couple questions about our backgrounds, get to know each other and stuff like that. More details about us for the viewers, you guys to also understand, and what we think about current meta of GA. We did just have recently the ban list, so that's also a good discussion to have. And we'll go ahead and get started. So firstly, the question I want to ask both of you is, what made you decide to start playing a Grand Archive? I'll start you off, Nid.
So I got introduced to Grand Archive through a friend. I wasn't super enthusiastic about joining a new trading card game, but the card design seemed really good, and I gave it a try, and I've been with it since launch.
Yes. What about you, Eli?
I got introduced to it mostly from my two friends that I play card games with a lot. I walked into the store one day on release day for Alter, and they were opening some boxes, so I was like, I'll check it out. And I respect their opinion a lot on card games, and they said they liked the way they were designed, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And from then on, I've just been playing it as much as I can.
I feel that. Me too. And for myself, at least, I picked up GA because my friends had been playing it just we had like hangouts pretty much every so often. And they were playing, two of my friends were playing Grand Archive. They had bought the starter decks and they were kind of playing it. I was watching them while we were like kind of chatting, and asked them about it. Say, hey, you know, what's this card game? Looks interesting. Because I used to play a couple of TCGs as well. They showed me how to play it. They gave me a Rice starter deck to play, and I've been playing ever since. Never stopped. So it's definitely, that's my background at least. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another question, like our competitive backgrounds. Let's go ahead and talk about our backgrounds with TCGs competitively. For example, like store champs, regionals, how we do. We can talk about Ascent 2, some new stuff. So,
Boy.
Oh boy, yeah, Ascent, the boogeyman. Let's start with you, Idle or Eli.
So currently, so far in Grand Archive competitively, I've top 8'd a regional, I top 8'd the Yeti regional, and then for store championship, I ended up splitting for first place with one of my friends because all I really wanted was the playmat. And then for Ascent, oh man, I ended up going 5-3 at Ascent. It was I felt good going into the tournament with Rye, and then I ended up going against two Merlin decks that were had mainboard Blanche. And it absolutely ruined my day. And after that, it was just, my tempo was gone. It was real bad. It was rough.
Way better than me.
5-3 is respectable.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad at all. I wish I could have done a little bit better though.
5-3 is really good. It's pretty good. Well, Nid, you didn't go to Ascent, right? If I'm correct.
I did not attend Ascent.
Oh, I see. What about other
my competitive background in Grand Archive so far is well, I'm Yeti Gaming local, so I've been attending those locals every week. They're fairly competitive. We've got the Yeti Regional, which I attended. I did not do well at the Yeti Regional. Home advantage, it wasn't so much of an advantage.
As it is sometimes.
And then at our store championships, I got second.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's still not bad. It's good.
It's definitely not bad.
Especially for
good.
A store like Yeti, that's pretty good.
And at least for myself, so store champ wise, I have one store champion under my belt. I have the Orb of Glitter card. Was playing Rye. I played like a mid-range Rye before FTC came out. And then for regionals, I went to Wenginals. I placed, I think, 19th. I was, I think, like 5-2 or 5. Yeah, I was 5-2. So I barely missed top 16 for that, unfortunately. And then for Ascent, hear this out, all right? Been brewing my lists, you know, I was super confident going into it. I was like, I'm ready for these aggro and these Merlin matchups. Hoping if I win round 1, I'm gonna get all these these Merlin matchups. It's gonna be a steamroll. I go 2-4, and I dropped after the 6th round because I was like, I cannot anymore. This is pure cope. So first game, I played into Dan's triple hybrid threat deck. So I played against, I think it was Michael of main deck. I don't remember his name. I think it was Michael. And he was running the same list that Dan was. So he was a strong opponent. I took 1 game off, but I lost the other 2. Game 2, I played against Red Rogue Gaming, Red Road Zone Gaming, that he played his Fire Xander aggro list. Really strong as well, and I had no board clear to deal with it, so I punished myself essentially. Did inside Purging Flames, didn't even have my side deck. Big mistake. Took 1 game off though. Game 3, played against a Sylvie. As you know how Sylvie is, that's just an insta-stomp. Game 4, played against a Fire Lorraine aggro. Got fucking crushed. I didn't even win a single game, unluckily. I didn't see any of my fast carriers, didn't see any of my resolute stance. Game 5 was Wind Rye Control. It was Hobo Crab's list. Really cool, but it is a little bit too slow, unfortunately. And game 6, the final game, I played against Mirror, but it was final hours list. So it was a Turbo Rye, and I lose to Turbo Rye because mine's slower paced. So that was really unfortunate. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I was lucky enough. I went 3-1 against aggro at Ascent.
Nice.
I went against I went against Unsung Crown. I went against him. He was playing Fire Xander aggro. He beat me. I should have won the game. I had a dungeon guide on the field. And he had a Blazing Bowman, and I didn't even think about it, and I should have cleared his Blazing Bowman, and he killed me with exactly 2 damage from the Blazing. Ooh. But then I beat 1 Fire Lorraine and then 2 Wind Allies. But I was playing a more turbo-focused Rye. And I got pretty lucky. I went more turbo-focused with a couple more answers for aggro decks, and it ended up working out against aggro, but then I went up against Merlin and lost, so that's always rough.
Damn.
But
I'm surprised we lost the Merlin matchups. I feel like the Merlin matchups are the easiest ones.
That main deck, Erupting
the main
deck actually. Yeah. That deck actually beat me. I played the side event. I ended up getting second in the side event because I lost to the main deck Erupting list. My only loss I took. Yeah.
It is a truly interesting deck. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and just kind of move on now. Let's talk about our builds, our favorite builds of Rye, you know. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the ban list. Ban list just came in, boys.
It's sad.
It's a sad day for Rye enjoyers. Reckless got banned. So
also a sad day for the honorary Lorraine player that is me. Honorary Lorraine player.
You got
the Lorraine player, the honorary Rye player.
Oh boy.
Damn, you got
doubly sad day for me.
That is rough, man. Yeah, so essentially, Reckless Conversion and Sword of Avarice both moved from Category 2 to Category 3. And that is pretty rough because Reckless was like a big staple for Rye. Rye doesn't really necessarily need it, but it was just such a helpful card. I want to hear your thoughts about it. What are your thoughts about the ban list?
I'm weird about it because obviously, like, Avarice was a problem. And if they ban Avarice, they definitely have to ban Reckless, because then there'll be a deck that's super strong in the meta. And instead of just 2 decks, then if they leave Reckless, then they're just king making it at that point. I don't know. I think Solidar was having a conversation about it yesterday or today in the Discord about why they chose to ban Avarice instead of like changing or banning Ascension. It's because like they want to be able to have more freedom to design cards later. Stuff like, because people are talking about like on enter. Maybe there's not going to be as many on enter effects with swords, so you can abuse Ascension. It kind of sucks Avarice got banned just because it makes it so much harder to play the Crux decks. I think it's still going to be good, but I am happy they banned it just so I don't have to play against a deck and have them just take 15 minutes to draw 20 cards, and then it's just like impossible to win at that point. I'm not upset with the ban list, but I'm on both sides. Like, I'm upset because they banned Reckless, but also like they didn't just go banning a bunch of cards willy-nilly. They banned cards that definitely needed to be seen, like definitely needed some care and looking after, and hopefully it helps other decks shine a little bit more, like your Sylvie decks.
Sylvie's a contender now. We had that True Champion Gaming live stream. I was pretty heat seeing that Sylvie deck that Hermetic was piloting. Woo, that thing was terrifying, I will say.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked it.
What about you, Nid? What do you think about it, man?
They needed to be banned. Reckless. Every game has its set one overpowered cards. Reckless and Avarice were the set one overpowered cards.
Yeah.
I don't mind the bans, but notably they did nothing to stop ally aggro.
Yeah,
that's a pretty notable thing to me.
I think the reason being is because I don't think ally aggro is that much of an issue. It was literally just an anti-meta call. I think a lot of people are excited about it, right? Definitely, I agree with that.
There are definitely cards and counters that people were not playing that can be ally aggro, but it's still a very, very strong deck that did not get touched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to ban a deck like that, because if you ban cards from that deck, then it makes other decks unplayable, and then it makes it so you're lowering the power of the ally aggro deck, and then you're just lowering the power of other decks, so that's just in the same position as it was before.
I kind of agree with some of the category 1 ads they did just put on there. They put Crystal of Empowerment, and they also added Displace. I think Crystal of Empowerment is a good reason to add a category 1 just because of it not being class bonus. I think the biggest issue with that card that every other class is able to abuse is not class bonus. Because I think exclusively it was meant for mage or just to get an extra 2 levels. But since other cards that have like the +2 plus class bonus effect, and the crystal literally just gives you +2 levels, meaning that at level 1 or even at level 1 you can just go up to level 3 instantly and use the bonuses for free right there and then. So yeah,
it makes it really hard to deal with the threats, because you don't want to waste resources to deal with your opponent's banner knights, or like even in fire they have Varuk and Acolyte. You don't want to really use resources to deal with those threats, and then it punishes you if you don't deal with them, because they just grab crystal and then they're attacking for 6-9. They're attacking for a crazy amount of damage just because you didn't want to use the resources to kill their smaller stuff.
It's a 0-1. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Exactly.
I wonder why it's a 3-1 now. So I kind of agree with all that. I mean, my thoughts are about the same as your guys. It was a necessary evil. Avarice and Reckless being banned is understandable. In my opinion, actually, I think it was fine not to touch them. I think Sting in category 2 would have been completely fine. Reason being is because even though like Crux and Arcane are going to be like pretty prevalent decks still coming at the end of set 2, we already see cards like the Cave-In list being very brand new decks that could have been crafted, and now we do not have access to, Avarice, we don't have access to Reckless. It means that we do get a lot more creativity with these decks. I may be contradicting myself, but I think it wasn't necessary, but it is a good thing to have now, at least for creativity within decks. So it is a necessary evil.
Yeah, it's not as punishing to have your deck be like a little less powerful now, because before if you didn't kill your Crux decks by like turn 4 or 5, then they just start drawing a bunch of cards, and it's like a 0% chance you win the game. It feels
unwinnable, yeah. It very much feels unwinnable. I also feel like for
Rai, people were saying things like, without Reckless Conversion, Rai can't do this, or Rai can't do that. Mostly for one-turn kill things. But Rai will still be very viable because levels are very, very strong.
I agree with that.
Scry Disguise exists. Pure Mana exists. Careful Study.
Yeah.
All this stuff that has to do with levels. Like, Scry 10 will never be bad.
No, never. Truly. I think people, when it comes to Rai, getting rid of Reckless just means we don't get our extra turn, pretty much, because that's what it was. Reckless was literally grab extra turn, play again. But with Reckless being banned, now we're moving towards, okay, if I'm playing Dispo, I need to set up cards for my Scry to support myself to defend. Because now, when we had Reckless, essentially, it was you play Reckless, you kill turn, right? But if we have to play Dispo, we have two options. One, need to guarantee we can kill, and maybe we have to rely on stuff like Fractals for the deck, so we can have Arcane Disposition cost just 1, or even 0 in some cases. And then be able to draw cards, going +2 on our draw if we do use Fractals. And then using Scry potentially, if we have a 0-card hand, to set up defenses, getting ready. Playing our Careful Studies, playing our Peer into Manas, to set up counters for enough draws to play defensively, like playing for Resolute Stand, Spellshare Arcane, and such. You know, I think that's now the kind of playstyle that we need to kind of consider now going forward with Reckless.
We also have Peaceful Reunion.
That too. Yes, that is true. We can play Dispo into Peaceful Reunion 4 of, surely.
Yeah, hopefully Reckless being banned like helps people realize that Arrive players that you can take a lot more angles than just turbo. Mm-hmm. And then you don't have to worry about like the full combo Ride decks beating you if you do slow down, because it's just not going to be as much of a thing anymore.
No.
And then now your Merlin and Lorraine are going to be less like punishing because they don't have Avarice, so you could play the longer and slower games.
The one thing I do hope and truly realize is that people have to understand that every deck will have its one bad matchup. No matter what, you cannot tune a deck to be good in every single deck. That would
absolutely.
That would literally break the format. So, I mean, obviously, let's talk about each deck, right? Caveman lists. Number 1 weakness. What would it be?
Flame Sweep.
Exactly. Sweeps.
Flame Sweep.
Instantly will kill the deck and make it really hard to come back up.
There's actually a lot of ally hate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a deck right now to the single goal is to be allies, and I look over the cards and I'm like, all these cards. If people just played all these cards, they would have a better ally matchup.
They would literally have a better ally matchup. Exactly.
It is a meta call. It's more of a meta call than not being respected, more than it's amazing.
True. That is.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Kevin, and we were talking about how Wind Allies is definitely like, it's one of those decks that if like the room prepares for it, it's gonna have like a really rough matchup in other decks. And I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, we were really trying to keep it quiet, and he was like, I felt bad if people were asking me about the deck because I want to help them in the situation, but I also don't want to tell them, oh, the deck's really good, because word will get around and people are going to be like, oh, they're on this deck. And they were worried because if the room's prepared for it, it's going to be an uphill battle the whole time. Mm-hmm. They wanted to have like a nice time to coast. But like it's a deck that can be countered. It's just like you have to play sweeps and you have to find your sweeping effects. The deck can still get through those, but now with like your Hone by Fires, it makes it a whole lot harder to play through, because even your I forget what the name of the card is, the one that gives them all +2 health. Even that doesn't do anything if you have like a sort of adversity with a Hone by Fire Flame Sweep dealing like 8 damage. You can't do anything through that. Song of Nurturing, that's the card. Song of Nurturing doesn't even stop that anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. But yeah, so pretty good talk about Ascents and also post-ban lists. It's kind of segue into my next question right now. Currently, do you think Rai currently can hold a firm identity right now in this current meta? What is your honest opinions about Rai?
Oh.
Honest opinions. If you want, I can start with this.
I'll start. I think it still can, because like you have all these great wind cards that they're playing in Wind Allies, and a lot of these wind cards have class bonus mage. So like you can just play a wind deck that like a Wind Allies list that's playing Rai that has more interaction. So then in the mirror you have a better in the Wind Ally mirror you have a better matchup. But I also think that Water is still going to see more play because Reckless doesn't really hit it that bad. And then I still think Fire can do stuff. I just think it's going to slow down and might be playing a more controlly matchup. I think it's just going to force players to like innovate more on the decks, which is I'm all for that. I don't want people to just be nut decking all the time. I want to be able to see people innovate on the lists and be able to see unique things. It makes me a lot more happy when I get to see like 4 different decks in a tournament than when I go up against the exact same things every single round. So I'm hoping it has it. I think it will. It's just I don't think it's going to have legs like right away. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for somebody to figure something out.
What about you, Nid? What do you think?
Rai is going to be strong. Rai will have a firm identity. I am thoroughly convinced of this.
Mm-hmm.
Time is going to prove me wrong or prove me right? But Rye can't be bad.
Oh, I don't know, actually.
I don't think Rye can be bad.
I have a hot
Rye
take.
can have a
on this
bad
opinion.
matchup, but Rye isn't bad.
I have a hot take on this. So I was talking with some people, and I was also talking with Sil, and he had asked the questions, and he asked me, how do I rate the current elements, like the advanced elements, and what is the strongest level 3 champion? And put in perspective, when I thought about it, I was like, you know what's the weakest right now? Currently, after the ban list, Arcane feels the weakest after the ban list, and that's a really big problem, I think, for Rye. The reason being is because now we get heavily punished for a lot of the cards we used, compared to now Terra, Luxem, and Crux. Even though Crux has its main draw engine shut down, they have stuff like Pendragon, they have stuff like Infusion. Even Majestic Spirit Crest is a crazy card with Spirit's Blessing, but people just don't use it currently. Right? Prismatic is still insanely good. Whereas Riot currently, the things that we have all punishes us if we don't play it properly, right? Storm Tyrant's Eye. If we don't scry properly, we're going to take a ton of damage. Sometimes you won't see a single Arcane card in 10 cards. That could kill you, right? Arcane Dispo, we have to discard our whole entire hand, right? You know, playing stuff like Arcane Blast, you know, if you're playing a single Arcane Blast, they have defensive, you know, you're not going to be able to get that kill turn, such as like Veiling. It's a slow speed. Erratic Bolt's also a slow speed. So there's so many cards in currently in Arcane where it feels like it's too much of a risk for the reward. That's my opinion, at least, regarding Arcane. So I think Arcane's the weakest, unfortunately. I do think Terra and Luxem are on the same level because of the one Proxy's Vault just came out. That Rock Band is crazy card. And Luxem got a huge boost, in my opinion. I think Luxem is like pretty strong after the draw engine of Crux is gone. I think Luxem will still lose to Arcane because that's its worst matchup no matter what. And Crux is probably still at the top.
There's not as much of a clock anymore. Yeah,
No,
the clock is...
The clock is gone. The clock, it's not gone, but it's been
we
extended.
have like we have two guys, like we have a guy at my local who he played a lot of Luxem, a lot of Fire Luxem Xander, and he loved it. And I mean, there was a guy I ended up splitting prizing with for the store championship, and it was always one more turn, he had it. And against like your Lorraine decks, you're gonna get that extra turn because sometimes they have to get to level 3 to even like get close to winning the game, and they're gonna be slowed down just a little bit by not being able to looping Avarice as much.
Exactly, yeah.
I am hoping that you see more mid-rangey lists with your Lorraine decks because I think Infusion's a really good card. I think that's going to be seeing more play. But like the deck's still really good and it's very strong. It doesn't need the broken things that it had before with Avarice looping.
True, I agree with that. But yeah. So, sorry, excuse me. That's what I think right now. All right, let's move on to another question. What are our hopes for ALC? So at Ascent, we did get some announcements regarding ALC. We got release dates, which would be in somewhere in November. We also have not nationals, worlds, and another Ascent coming up also. So what are our thoughts right now, currently in ALC? You think we're gonna keep playing some Rye shenanigans, or what do you think of the other classes? They tempting you? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it then.
I am first and foremost a control-ish mid-range player. I saw Guardian with 30 HP. I like Guardian with 30 HP.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough to get through.
If they get good mechanics, that is what I will be playing.
I think the token-based system that it has been supposedly rumored to have, it's gonna be very interesting to see. Very excited for that too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ranger. Ranger looks like it's gonna be cool. Yeah, Ranger. So I played a lot of Hearthstone. I played a lot of competitive Hearthstone, and I don't know, like I really liked Rogue in Hearthstone because it was like had the ability to like combo off and kill your opponent really fast. I haven't really looked at anything in the Discord. I don't know if people have been talking a whole lot about it. But it looks like the identity of it looks like it's going to be able to have like a lot of answers to things on board. So like somewhat board control, but also still able to combo off and kill your opponent. And that's really similar to the Rogue decks that I've played in Hearthstone. So I'm hoping it's something similar to that. I'm really looking forward to Rogue. It looks like, I mean, I see guns and I think that's cool. So I really hope that it's as cool as it looks and it has like the same similar type of play style as other decks I've played in the past.
I get that. Yeah. And funny enough, I like how we all have our own answer. I actually really excited for Cleric, you know. Ew, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You don't like my herbs?
No, when I think of cleric, all I can think of is games taking too long.
Yeah, hell yeah. Say
Yeah.
less,
Game's
you
taking
know.
too long. There is no such
Yes.
There's
thing.
never. Never. So
No, I like to get 10 minutes, the 10-minute round done. Like just play for 10 minutes, go hang out, go get some food. I'm not trying to play the
get some
time.
snackies. Right. Especially at those
Exactly.
long ascent tournaments where the rounds are like 60, 70 minutes long. You want your
Yeah.
20-minute and be done with, and like, alright, cool. Give me the next one. The reason why I say cleric, I've always been a big fan of kind of like magic and healing classes. Kind of similar to I used to play a lot of Final Fantasy 14, and my favorite class was Red Mage because they had both the effects of a lot of healing properties and also a lot of magic properties. So kind of appealed to me, but I'm always a big fan of magic in general for any kind of game. So obviously Rye was my number one thing. And seeing cleric having the same kind of identity is like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Can I outlast my opponent, heal, and also deal a lot of damage while being really annoying? Sure, say less, you know. So I'm really excited to see that. And to addition to that, since we should wrap up very soon for our first episode, we are going to be actually spoiling 3 new ALC cards on the next episode. So we're scheduled to release our kind of reveal spoiler on the 25th. So keep an eye out for that on our next episode. And we'll be talking about it with the design notes that are coming out as well on the 20th. So today is the 17th. So 3 days from now, we will have design notes for ALC released. And we'll be discussing our design notes in the next episode, talking about the spoilers, what we think, and moving forward, see where we're going to be playing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching our podcast for our pilot episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and see you guys for the next episode. Bye, guys. Get you guys later as well. Bye-bye, everyone.
See ya.